Again, good day, good day. Fell Lord Zakuun position video, right? So what I'm showing you here is what we're going to look for to start with. Now, we haven't done any attempts on him, so of course, naturally, there'll be adjustments. And if an additional video for positioning needs to be put in and this one took him down, so be it. But this is a breakdown of 4 replays that I watched, 3 sets of videos that I went through, and then just general reading of the strategy and how to approach it so that way we could put ourselves in a position that allowed us to be able to be successful, okay? So what we're going to do is one of two measures. Now when the fight starts, initially the boss will be positioned directly north with the tanks in the center and then melees to the side and around him, basically creating like a shield. Then we're going to have range, heal, range, heal, range, okay? So what this is creating, again, is a triangle formation. Now you see 6 symbols that are present on there, 6 colors, right? What those are flags, and I found those in multiple videos and also in the fights as far as the positioning where they put the flags. Now this fight has a lot of just free movement where there's going to be a lot of different aspects of avoidance or intentionally trying to intercept the waves based on whether or not you have the debuff. So really, there's no real set formation that we want to try and create other than just a general position of where we're going to function from and then adjust according to the mechanics as they come through. Now, to sum things up in general, performing a tank switch with the Fell Lord when he uses Soul Cleave is going to be a mandatory. The tank is going to get hit by it and then go into an alternate reality of the stage. At this point, the tank is going to want to go as far away from the crystal and the boss as possible. So for example, that's why the blue and the light red colored marks are towards the back of the room. What they're going to want to do is intentionally go back there and then kind of leave the marks across, because when they go in the first time, they're setting up the stage. After that, next time they come in, the next tank is going to see a pulse coming from and a norm of it's called wakes of destruction, which are like patches on the ground, and then they're going to cause pulses, which are called rings of destruction. So by the end of the fight, I would imagine that the tank's going to be literally leaping over rings over and over and over. When you get hit by the ring, then in turn you're going to come out, and then you're going to end up doing an AoE explosion, which is going to happen no matter what once your timer exposes anyway. You want to make sure as a healer you're saving your healing cooldowns for fell explosions during phase 2 and phase 3. DPS, it's single target fight, so you're going to be on Zakuun the entire time. Everyone's responsibilities include taking damage from Wakes of Discretion twice within 15 minutes at all costs to avoid it, so that way you don't trigger foul explosion, which is an AoE explosion that's 6 yards. Absorbing rumbling fissures by standing in them for 5 seconds. Now you're going to get a debuff when you do this, which means you can't do it again for another minute and a half, right? So people are going to have to rotate properly into it. Now when the rumbling fissures occur, there's 2 different strategies that I saw applied in the videos that I watched. One was putting the crystals near the boss to the left and right, so at the red and the orange circle, or putting them in the back of the room, which is at the blue and the fuchsia colored circle. So we're going to work on that and see which one works best for us. Method used it very close, and so did Paragon, so did Midwinter. But a couple of other guilds that I saw ended up putting it towards the back. So, but naturally that means the tank's role is going to have to switch. So if you put, for example, the crystal intentionally in the back, then the tank needs to make sure that they come out near the boss, for example. So I like purple and green. Now these flags also represent being next to these outcroppings that represent the pillars of the stage. Think of it as a dome with no top, but the stone structure is still there for, as far as on the placement of the room. So guess what that means? That means if you're next to the wall when you burst, that you're going to send stuff into the wall. So that's going to allow you to be able to mitigate the amount of flames that are being sent into the fight and then have to be absorbed too. Okay. Now, as far as the mechanics on this fight, there's a lot going on. So to talk about it would be really just it'd be inconclusive until you saw it. It just could do some more conjecture to like, hey, what's going on and why are we doing this? You know, and what is this and how do we answer to it? So I would suggest just watching some videos and see how they're applied. They recommend using heroism at this point during phase 3, so that way we can get through the burn as quickly as possible and have the most heals being impacted at this point. Also, another thing to note, if you've got your legendary ring, which a lot of people have earned as far as in like, you know, the mythic and in the heroic scene, for example, doing multiple kills to the boss and earning tomes for total kills. They're starting to add those now to the icy veins when to use them. So I would suggest reviewing it for your class so that way you know the best time. Big one for the healers is at the end during phase 3 when he really starts amping up his damage into the tanks, is that we're going to make sure that we have to have the cooldowns and we have the heals pouring into them. If you have any additional questions, please just ask. You can post below. Please click like, and I appreciate you taking the time watching the video. And I see you in game, VHR. I'm going to sit there and knock this guy down soon.